Good evening and welcome to the sports section. I'm Jeff Wernick.
And I'm Adam Edelstein. Coming up in the next half hour, final Super Bowl coverage, great Laker hockey, and NHL and NBA action. Stick around while we open up the sports section.
You knew it'd be a blowout, but you still watched it anyway.
I know I did. As a matter of fact, I watched it with you. That was a gift. Anyway, more on the Super Bowl. Final Super Bowl wrap-up. Here's Jesse Stein.
Last week's Super Bowl was everything that it was expected to be. Compare with the likes of future Hall of Famers Steve Young and Jerry Rice. As this trend continues, league officials have decided to look into possibly changing the NFL's playoff format. Adam and Jeff will have more on this topic later in the show.
So San Francisco really played that free agent market beautifully, built themselves a Super Bowl team, but Jeff, now they have to rebuild themselves a coaching staff.
Yes, the Broncos, who had been without a coach for over a month since dumping Wade Phillips, now found themselves a new one, Mike Shanahan, the 49ers offensive coordinator. They signed him to a 7-year deal worth a reported $7 million, and the contract also gives Shanahan full control of the Broncos football operation. San Francisco lost on the defensive end as well. The Philadelphia Eagles signed defensive coordinator Ray Rhodes to place the departed Rich Kotite.
San Diego Chargers quarterback Stan Humphries was unable to get it done in the Super Bowl, but he was confident enough to attempt the Pebble Beach National Pro-Am Golf Tournament. He dislocated his shoulder swinging a golf club. It was the same shoulder, his left, that caused him to have arthroscopic surgery back in November. It should not cost him any playing time come next season. Due to another NFC domination in the Super Bowl, the league is finally considering a new playoff format to make the championship game more competitive. The AFC has been blown away the past 11 Super Bowls. One system being proposed keeps the current 6 playoff team format, 6 from each conference that is, but they'll seed them 1 through 12 based on regular season records. The highest seeded team would always play the lowest seeded team throughout the playoffs. Under this new system, the Super Bowl conceivably could have been San Francisco and Dallas, the top 2 teams in the 1994-1995 regular season campaign.
Art Shell has been fired by the team that employed him for the past 27 years. The Los Angeles Raiders announced earlier this week that longtime assistant Mike White will replace the fired Shell. His downfall came earlier this season with that screaming match with Jeff Hostetler on the sideline. In other news from L.A., the California Senate has urged the National Football League owners to reject the Rams' move to St. Louis. And Joe Montana is taking flying lessons after a report out of Kansas City said that Montana's surgery was unsuccessful. Now the Chiefs report that he's taking flying lessons and then he'll be ready for next season.
When sports section continues, Jane Palmerini will be with us to fill us in on great Laker hockey. We'll also tell you a little bit about the NHL and NBA seasons, how they're faring.
But now let's leave you with our brain teaser.
Closure on a couple plays. Just pretty much from that point on, we knew we were scraping a barrel.
Inside the Romney Fieldhouse, I'm Jane Palmerini for WTOP Sports.
Jeff, since that Geneseo-Brockport split, it really got exciting. Went up to Fredonia, sort of a must-win game. They weren't able to do that, losing to Fredonia 3-2. Then the following day, Buffalo 8-2, a big win.
Yeah, Oswego's really, they need to win every game because of how the playoffs are running now. The top 4 teams make it to the playoffs. Let's look at the standings now and see where Oswego is in the standings. In first place, Plattsburgh at 9-1. They knocked off Fredonia this past weekend as well. And right behind Cortland is Oswego at 5-1. So Oswego still has some work to do to make it into the playoffs. They do have some big games coming up on this weekend. Sunday night at 8, you can see Oswego versus Potsdam right here on WTOP. And then on Monday, you can also watch Oswego take on the Plattsburgh Cardinals. Both of those games tape delay basis. The games will be live at Romney on Friday and Saturday at 7 o'clock. You can catch all the action right here on WTOP, Channel 10 on campus, Channel 6 off campus.
Those 2 games really must-win games, as well as the February 14th Valentine's Day game against Cortland. As you always say, won't be any love lost there. That's what's going on with the Great Lakers. Now let's take a look at the NHL Rink Report to fill you in on the NHL.
Pittsburgh, as of Sunday, has not lost a game, starting out with a 7-0 record. Penguins' first 4 games were on the road, and Jaromir Jagr scored a goal in each of the first 5 wins. With Tom Barrasso out for the season, Ken Regan has stepped up big in the net.
The Quebec Nordiques came out of the starting gate like thoroughbreds, winning their first 5 games, the team's best beginning in over 9 years. Currently 6-1 and flawless at home, the Nordiques find themselves in second place in the Northeast Division, just 2 points ahead of the 5-2 Bruins.
Keeping within the Eastern Conference is the Atlantic Division. Totally opposite from last year, the New York Islanders find themselves in first, and Tampa Bay and Florida in second and third, respectively. The defending Stanley Cup champion New York Rangers have lost 5 of their first 7 matchups and had a 3-5-1 record as of Sunday. The Devils, who were a game away from the finals last year, started out slow as well, and now have posted a 2-4-1 start, good enough to be tied with Washington.
Moving to the Western Conference and the Central Division, the Detroit Red Wings are playing superb hockey. Scotty Bowman's club has been picked by many to go all the way this year. The addition of Mike Vernon in goal complements an offense including Sergei Fedorov, Ray Shepard, Steve Yzerman, Dino Cicerelli, and offensive defenseman Paul Coffey. They are unbeaten in 6 games when scoring first.
Well, Jeff, St. Louis is tied for first with the Wings. Under new head coach Mike Keenan, Brett Hull has scored 9 goals in the team's first 8 games, helping the Blues to a 6-2 start.
Finally, the Pacific Division, the worst division in the NHL. The San Jose Sharks, who surprised Detroit last year with a first-round elimination from the playoffs, is atop the division with a 5-1-1 start. Calgary, with 2 young, unproven netminders in Jason Kidd and Andrei Trefilov, are in second place. The biggest surprise in the Pacific is the 1-3-2 start by Vancouver. The Canucks took the Rangers to Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Finals just 6 months ago.
NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman, along with International Ice Hockey Federation President Dr. Rene Fassel, they reaffirmed their commitment to have NHL stars show up and play in the 1998 Winter Olympics. Well, rumors were flying about the New York Rangers. Came off to a very slow start, as you just saw. Their general manager, Neil Smith, there was word that he was possibly going to Detroit to be the team's president. He's going to stay right where he is, being that he still has 3 years remaining on his Rangers contract as general manager. The rumor also had Kings head coach Barry Melrose heading to Detroit as well to take over for Scotty Bowman when he resigns after this year.
Now let's take a look at our subscriber speaks out for this week. All of your thoughts on the NHL. Game on.
You could probably take any emotion on the spectrum from high to low to tell you how I'm feeling, but you have to conclude it with the thrill that this is over.
I don't think both sides are totally happy, satisfied with the deal. In the context, you always would like something different or something better. The bottom line is that there's an arrangement here to go forward under that both sides have endorsed, and I think that's the key thing. I think it's the key thing for hockey.
We have bought 3.5 years of labor peace.
Oh, I'm most excited about the beginning of the season. I hope to watch plenty of Canadian-based hockey.
I think the intensity will be there.
We didn't get everything we wanted, and maybe they didn't get whatever they wanted, so. It really had no effect on my career at all, but, I didn't want to be a guy down the road that young guys looked up to and said, you know what, Wayne Gretzky and guys like Messier, they sold us down the river.
I know I'm sick of strikes, I'm sick of litigation, I'm sick of players wanting more money.
So I think the intensity level is going to be unbelievable right from the drop of the puck.
I don't think the hockey's going to be as good as it could be.
I think it's great to have hockey back.
I think the first little bit here will be scrappy, but I think we'll all be on equal basis.
I'm glad that the players are back, and I think the owners are very big, imbeciles for letting the strike go on.
With 50 games, it's going to be right down to the wire.
And they should make every season pretty much a 48-game schedule with full playoffs.
If it wasn't for Bettman, I heard last Saturday that the league would have been canceled.
My pick's the Sabres to win it all. Go Canadians.
I'd like to see the Rangers go all the ways, win another Stanley Cup.
Back, and I hope the Islanders win the whole thing.
Moving away from the NHL and on to the NBA, Larry Nance had his number 22 retired in Cleveland last Monday night. And in other news around the league, John Stockton broke the assist record previously held by Magic Johnson. For more on the NBA, let's take a look at our NBA wrap for this week. The hottest team in basketball is the Utah Jazz. They have won 8 of 10 and 16 of their last 18 games. Stockton, Malone and company just ended a 15-game road win streak, and they lost their last 2.
Just 3 games back is San Antonio. David Robinson has led the Spurs to 7 straight wins and are right on Utah's tail. The defending world champion Rockets find themselves 5 points back in the standings.
Keeping within the West, the Pacific Division houses the team with the league's best record. The Phoenix Suns are 36-9 on the season and have won 9 of 10 as of late. 3 games back is Seattle, who has won 10 of their last 12, trying to keep pace in the division. Each team is dominant in their own arena. The Suns are 20-2 at home, and Seattle is 18-3 in their own building.
The Eastern Conference has been fun of late. In the Atlantic, the Knicks are trying to gain ground on that first-place Orlando Magic team. Orlando has a 5-game lead on New York and has a 21-1 home record. This week, they lost 2 in a row for the first time all year. New York, they're 9-1 in their last 10 games. Center Patrick Ewing was named Offensive Player of the month of January.
New Jersey is in 4th place, 18 games out. They will miss the services of Derek Coleman at least through next week's All-Star game. Coleman has a chip fracture in his pelvic bone. Washington, dead last in the Atlantic Division, has activated Chris Webber, who missed 19 games with a dislocated shoulder.
Last but not least, the Central Division, where a 5-game win streak by the Charlotte Hornets have moved them into a 2-game first-place lead ahead of Cleveland and Indiana. Cleveland fell after losing Mark Price to injury last week. Chicago, they've been struggling. The Bulls are now 7 games out of the top spot in the standings.
Today would have been the 100th birthday of Babe Ruth, Jeff.
Yeah, he is actually dead, not like Elvis. Babe Ruth would have been 100 if he was still around.
And also, 11 Super Bowls have been won by the NFC. Domination, as we mentioned earlier in the program. This year, the AFC was the Pro Bowl winner. And finally, the answer to our brain teaser today.
Let's take a look at the question first. How many Super Bowl records were broken in Super Bowl? That is a 29 for Roman numeral illiterates. Let's take a look at the answer. How many records? 16 records broken in this year's Super Bowl. Most of those obviously by the San Francisco 49ers, but the Chargers helped in racking up some of the points.
San Francisco has a lot of future Hall of Famers out there, and Natron Means really didn't get to carry the ball as much as he wanted to. As Jesse mentioned earlier, Steve Young was the leading rusher in the game. That's about it. Next year, another Super Bowl. We'll see what happens. That's all for Sports Section. For Jeff Warnick, I'm Adam Edelstein. Thanks for watching.